As you rightly said, artificial intelligence and machine learning is going to take over. It's going to take over eventually in one way or the other on the in the production side as well.
Yes.
Apart from that, sustainability is a concept, and there are a lot of ifs and buts coming in sustainability. People are talking about sustainability, but at the same time, at the ground level, the things are not happening as per the expectation. So there is a disconnect as of now. But I'm sure that if you can share some ideas or some throw some light on what sustainability solutions are you talking about, so that would be very enlightening.
Yeah, sure. So the social and environmental sustainability had been the focus during this ITMA, which I saw very clearly. And the direction was clearly towards reducing waste or energy consumption so as to have a positive impact on the environment and earth. So also I saw a great development happening on fiber recycling side. Because
Right,
when
sir.
we talk of sustainability, recycling is of course a part of it. Now, on synthetic side, interestingly, although polyester recycling and spinning fiber from recycled bottle flakes has been a proven technology and used by many, I saw some shift now happening slowly to closing the loop for most types of man-made fibers because it's not happening. It has not happened so far. And among the pioneering technologies in this are, either enzymatic or polyester chemical recycling, hydrothermal recycling technologies. And according to me, the next step in this circularity journey is the commercial adoption of textile to textile recycling technologies.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
Unfortunately, I couldn't see much of advancement in this, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of research, laboratories and institutes are working on this area, and I think we will soon see some kind of advancement in this. Now, I'll give you some examples, of the companies integrating this. Now, within spinning, I could see Sorer, for example, had a complete process to handle recycled fibers in spinning,
Right, sir.
right from blow room up to autocoro. So it's very interesting that there is a complete process line now to handle a certain amount of recycled fibers. But normally, I have seen they are not more than 20% right now. But over a period of time, when the innovations happen, technologies advance, I'm pretty sure this percentage will also go up.
Right, sir.
Similarly, I saw for the first time on Ritter stall, Ritter Comfort recycling system, using recycled blended fibers blended with virgin material for the first time for compact yarn. This is very interesting.
Right.
Similarly, one of the companies, German companies whom I advise is ITA, that is Institute Textile Technique, Aachen, Germany.
Right.
They work a lot on recycling. They have a center of recycling research also in Augsburg. So they had a stall where they have presented research-based innovation in recycling of different kinds of waste materials and converting them into innovative products.
Products,
So
yeah.
it's very
Right.
interesting. It's not only
Right.
processing, but also they have exhibited the products which can be made, and some of them are right now used by the automobile industry already. So it's a
Right,
very
sir. Right.
interesting development. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Similarly, on a processing side, because as all of us know, that dyeing and finishing involve,
Lot of
many
water.
of the stages, yeah, a lot of water, in washing,
Mm.
and drying consumes also a lot of chemicals,
Thing. Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
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 So I have seen particularly in processing finishing section that many of the leading textile machinery people have already made a lot of developments in dyeing machines, especially in the design and control technology, which can help reduce water consumption, and substantially, and not only water, even chemical consumption substantially.
Yes. Right, sir.
I'll give you
Right.
some examples. Karl Mayer, has complete denim finishing line, all of us know. So they have introduced something called blue dye uh, technology. This involves nitrogen-based dyeing technology for denim, which minimizes the water consumption, chemical consumption to nearly 60%. It's a big, because as all of us know, denim requires lots and lots of resources, in terms
Right.
of water, chemicals, and
Yeah.
one of the, I would say, the processes which are harmful to the environment.
Yes.
So I
Most
think this
polluting.
is a very, Yes, most
Yeah,
polluting. So this is one
yeah,
of the, I think, pleasant developments, I would say, which
right,
are
sir.
helpful. Similarly, many of the machine builders now provide dual heating systems,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
such as combination of gas and steam or gas and oil. So it can reduce dependence on gas as well as the systems for recycling waste. I have seen many companies now integrating the system to recycle the waste heat from the drying processes and reusing it again. So I
Right, right,
think this is a good help to the sustainability initiative.
right,
And
right.
one more, thing I have seen a trend towards next generation material innovation. Whether it is in fibers or whether it is in chemicals. I think a lot of shift is slowly happening towards in avoiding fossil fuel based materials and shifting to plant based materials. So,
Right.
some of the technology, I'll give you some examples also. There was one company which I noticed, the name is Tree to Textile. They have very innovative man-made fiber, cellulosic fiber technology
Right,
that
sir. Right.
provides the textile fibers with good sustainability performance, at a very attractive cost.
Correct,
Now, of
correct.
course, this we have to see at commercial level how this can be used. But good thing when I discuss with them, I understood that their technologies are backed by H&M Group, IKEA Group, uh,
Yeah,
LSCS. So a lot of companies who are towards consumer end, they are ready to support these initiatives. One
yeah,
more company I found name is Nusa, NOOSA. They produce 100% recyclable fibers from corn, and this is again a plant-based fiber, and it will help industry to reduce pre and post consumer, waste at pre and post consumer levels, because you can absolutely recycle the complete material. So very interesting innovations. So I wanted to not only focus on textile machinery developments, but also a lot of things are happening around textile machinery, whether it is raw material, whether it is chemicals. I think lots and lots of innovations are happening on the processes as well as resources, and that's a good thing.
right,
So
sir.
end of
Right.
the day, yeah, towards sustainability, as I said very much in the beginning, that it will be a joint effort of machinery makers, uh, you know chemicals, raw material makers, as well as the users, to move towards the next level of transformation, and it can only happen through joint efforts of all these entities.
Yeah, right, sir. I think it has to be a combined efforts across the whole supply chain. See, it will start from the retailer or a brand. So now they are talking. If you see that current trends are that these brands are asking these suppliers to give even the carbon footprints in their merchandise. So the
Yeah,
carbon footprints
absolutely.
ultimate. Yeah. So this ultimately is going to translate into the production processes only, and and
Absolutely.
it is a good thing. And it's a good thing, as you rightly said, that it's a they are trying to re-innovate the processes. Plus, even there is a thrust on reinventing different kinds of fibers also in terms of utility and in terms of end use. So for example, just viscose based fibers, we are trying to find out new alternatives for that, from taking it out from the waste, different kind of waste and all. So I think
Absolutely.
the steps are moving towards sustainability. Might take some time, but gradually we will be finding some new ways of doing business and looking at these sustainability issues, right, sir?
Absolutely. So taking clue from what you said, Amit ji, I think this exhibition has very clearly defined the further direction for the industry.
Correct, sir. Right, sir. Right, sir. Right, sir. So I just also wanted your opinion. So how do you find Indian textile machinery industry? They were also there. Some of the big groups were there in ITMA. So how do you find them competing with this European counterparts? And are they doing certain things which are going into the right direction so that we can increase our visibility and business in the global platform?
Yeah, sure, sure. Uh, this ITMA particularly had the highest participation from the Indian machinery makers. I think around 200 companies participated, and probably this is the highest number so far.
Mhm.
Uh, I met many of them. Plus, I was also, standing on some of the company stalls where I am an advisor. especially Rabatex Industries, which makes the complete weaving preparatory machines, and Yamuna Machine Works, which is in the finishing side. I was amazed this time that most of the Indian exhibitors received an overwhelming response, especially from the overseas visitors this time.
Right.
And I could also, see that, there were increased footprints from visitors from Europe, USA, Turkey, especially. Turkey, I saw a lot of visitors, Russia, Bangladesh, South America. There were many serious visitors who had discussed at length, saw the machines and requested for offers also. Whereas some of the customers I could see even finalizing the orders. And it's not only for these two companies where I was standing, but sometime. But I saw when I discussed with some of the other Indian textile machinery makers, they had a very similar experience. I think the increased footprints of overseas visitors on Indian stall is a clear indication of the changing trend.
Okay,
Now,
great.
you asked me a question about competing with European counterparts. Now, yes, I think as far as spinning is concerned, as all of us know, to larger extent, I think our spinning technologies are quite contemporary with Europeans. And whatever maybe these smaller gaps are already now matched. I could see this time, especially visiting the Indian spinning machinery stalls. My overall assessment is that some of the Indian textile machinery makers who have exhibited their latest technologies, they have succeeded in bridging the gap, technology gap with the European counterparts to larger extent. I would not say that they have matched it, but I would
Okay.
certainly compare it with earlier ITMAs. And I would say this time definitely there was a leap towards bridging the gap. And this is
Right.
a fairly good, I think, development for the country. And this might be one of the reasons that overseas buyers visited our stalls. With the cost of manufacturing going up in Europe due to increased energy prices and labor
Right.
costs, and China facing the trouble, I think India is probably the obvious alternative they are looking at, particularly the textile producing countries around, for contemporary technologies, because India can offer a fairly good technology at competitive prices. And I think price performance, according to me, is in the favor of India today. I will give all the credits to the textile machinery makers because they have really adopted digitization, automation fairly well in last few years. Apart from that, I think some of the companies have also seen focusing a lot on sustainability, energy saving, water saving. I saw some Indian companies exhibiting waterless dyeing also, which
Yes,
we
correct.
have only heard from European suppliers so far.
Right.
And it is a very pleasant change which is happening. And I particularly saw this time that probably many of the overseas visitors have acknowledged that India can be a serious supplier of textile machinery in the coming years.
Okay, great, sir. So I think, sir, you think that Make in India, the thrust from the government of India is making a difference there?
I think, of course, I think Make in India initiative has given certainly some push to the indigenous development and manufacturing, no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I have been working in textile machinery field for last 40 years. And particularly, I worked in a company or a group which has started the joint venture as back as in 1975 onwards.
Mm-hmm.
So AT Group had that time onwards, had joined hands with many of the European textile machinery companies. I'll just cite few examples like Truschler, for example,
Mm-hmm.
then Stork for printing, Monforts, in finishing,
Finishing it. Right.
Custos in finishing. So then of late Kalmayer for warp preparation. So actually, many of the textile machinery manufacturer already had started the initiative of Make in India,
Right.
but it was limited only to few leading groups or few
Mm-hmm.
leading textile companies. Of course, LMW is another case where I would say own R&D efforts, own innovations have really helped the company to compete with the best in the world. So that is also we have to appreciate that
Right,
not
sir.
only through joint venture or collaboration, but some of our many
Individual.
Indian companies I have seen, individual companies like LMW. There are many who have indigenously developed the technologies. But I overall see the problem is that, when you compare it with China, wherever textile machinery people, you will always find a complete value chain around, So the whole ecosystem is available there to make the machines very competitive. In India, unfortunately, that is not the case. Therefore, the local textile machinery sector has not grown to that extent because we have to still import a lot of parts. And especially there's a large gap in the textile value chain, which we can see in weaving, knitting, finishing, and garmenting, where largely machines get imported still. Spinning, we are still quite self-sufficient. We are modern, we are contemporary. But weaving, virtually 100%, air jet, water jet, rapier looms get imported to the country, more or less. Knitting machines get imported. Finishing, there's a huge gap. Garmenting, simple garmenting machines also get imported. And you'll be surprised that, nearly 60%, the total annual market of textile machineries in India is around 15 to 16,000 crores.
Mhm.
Out of this, nearly 60% of textile machinery gets imported. Now, this is not a good thing for a country where textile industry has to grow.
Grow, correct, correct.
If the textile industry has to grow, you have to have a very strong support from your local textile machinery industry. Then your capital cost can remain down.
Indeed, correct.
The best example is China. China's grand success in textile is one of the main reasons is their own domestic textile machinery industry.
Mm-hmm.
And we are still, I would say, far away to that. I only hope that Make in India initiative can bring in a lot of motivation to the existing textile machinery makers. But I would also say that where this 60% gets imported, these technologies have to come to India, because today, just take the example of weaving. Nearly 4,500 high-speed air-jet and rapier looms get imported every year. Nearly 10,000 waterless water jet machines, weaving machines come in the country. From China, low speed, rapier machines, they come nearly about 10,000. So you can imagine how much foreign exchange is getting wasted. I've just given you an example of weaving.
Right,
so a lot can be done on this area. I'm not very happy so far about the overall efforts India has taken in textile machinery. My dream is, or my concept is, not only for domestic market, but India has a capability to become a global supplier to the market for the textile machinery. We have that
Right, sir.
ability.